What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Moosey Gaming here, and today we're back to our main account, and as you guys can see, we have lost the KvK. This is actually the territory of the Earth Camp over here, which is our main opponent from our side, as we are the Fire Camp. And then the Wind Camp over here, which is the main opponent of the Water Camp over here, has controlled the Kingsland in half, right? So as you guys can see, we have already lost the KvK. And you guys might be wondering, hey, like Musa, what's going on? I thought you guys were still fighting okay in the past 7 openings. Obviously, there was a little bit of back and forth in the past 7. But yeah, like what happened there? And just to give you a little bit of gist of what's going on, 2 days ago, we got the Kingdom Mail that basically said our campmate, not campmate, our alliance mate, which is the water camp over here, has actually decided to surrender and then pull out of this zone. And as a fire camp who's been fighting earth camp most of this KvK, and we were, let's be honest, we were losing. We were losing in every direction. Obviously, the past 4 opening we lost. Past 7 we were kind of going back and forth, but then again, it wasn't really on the win. We weren't really on the winning side basically. And then past 6, the outer fights, we were kind of on the same kind of head to head on the first one, but even the first one we lost, and then the second and the third outer fights that happened thereafter, we basically lost to the Earth Camp probably within the first 30 minutes. So yeah, we were losing, but we weren't losing completely. But Water Camp over here, unfortunately, weren't able to compete against the Wind Camp too much. They were getting a little bit more pushed than we were getting pushed by the Earth Camp, unfortunately. So yeah, basically the justice, the both sides of the war front we lost, so hence we lost. But yeah, let me just go ahead and walk you through what happened throughout this KvK so you guys have a better understanding of how this KvK has gone through. Now, on the past for opening day, as you guys can see, we're fighting against our Earth Camp. I don't know what exactly happened, but apparently the past swarmers were a little bit later than they took over the passes a little bit later than the Earth Camps did for whatever reason. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to the past swarmers, to be honest with you. Although I was live streaming, I wasn't really paying attention to the past swarmers because it's not like I can do anything about it. So I was just random TPing to find the fights, right? So I didn't really pay attention, but apparently they were later than the enemy. It's always the relative terms, right? And then when we got the force lined up, unfortunately our force weren't in the most kind of ideal situation and ideal positions compared to the Earth Camp. I heard that played a big role. At the end of the day, we did lose the field fight. We did lose the rallying garrison. At the end of the day, our alliance 39 CB, 2939 was fighting on the bottom side. Other alliances three other kingdoms were actually fighting on the top side. We were going mostly 2v1, so that's why if you guys actually check my old videos, we were number 1 in DKP within the camp because we were fighting against 2 kingdoms and we were really fighting. We were struggling a little bit too. And yeah, but we weren't really able to make like crazy advancements from the top side too because the zones were really close. If they start pushing on the top side, the 2 kingdoms that were on there, one of them would actually move over to that side and then push. So yeah, we weren't able to make any aggressive approaches, aggressive advancements to the enemy, and unfortunately we have lost this zone. Now the water camp, I don't know if you guys watched any of my old videos. Unfortunately, has a little bit more younger kingdoms than other camps did. Obviously, they have the best performing kingdom, which is actually 1501, included in there. But unfortunately, aside from that, they had a lot of what I would call it quote unquote fluff power with a lot of young kingdoms. And it's not their fault. They got matched with us and against us. It's just what it is. Unfortunately, when we entered the KvK, Water Camp did have little more younger kingdoms than other camps did. So yeah, just long story short, Win just destroyed all those young camps, and then although 1501 did try to give them as much fight as they could, it just wasn't enough, right? So they lost this zone right here. So we started out the KvK with just splitting the buffs from this zone right here, which was kind of unfortunate. And then as Pass 5 opened and as we entered this zone and Pass 6 opens, we fought the Earth Camp on this altar right here. Again, we weren't really winning all three of the altar fights that we had. I was personally part of, but I was personally performing really well because my Arthur Achilles is obviously one of the top Arthur Achilles that you can find in the game, right? But yeah, we weren't really winning this area, so that's basically how it went. And then past 7, we went into the fight for the first 2 days ish, and then as you guys know, on the third day, the water camp pulled out, and then we decided to pull out because there's no point in us trying to fight for this area if we're going 2v1 against a camp that is already beating us on top of another camp that basically had no loss in power and all that, which is the wind camp, right? So we can't go 2v1 against two stronger camps than we do. So unfortunately, that's basically how it happened. And yeah, that's how the KvK went. And in terms of my personal performance, I have personally gained 9 million acclaim. I'm assuming my kill is around like 30 million, 31 or 2 million ish. Given the fact that I did reach 30 million kills as we opened past 7. I think the day the past 7 opened, I think I reached 30 million kills, but I don't really know if they have specific numbers per se. But yeah, that's basically what happened. If you go to the enemy elimination, not this one, because this one I didn't really participate in because this was like already done. Let's see. Yeah, if you go to the kill leaderboards, I have gained 162.9 million kill points. I don't know how that translates, but that's basically how much I am. I am 209th place in terms of the kills. And as you guys know, I've been zeroed in this KvK because I was fighting for the Ties of Steel, which is actually the event that's on right now. But that gives you like 0.1% attack until the end of the KvK if you get 1 million kill points. I was trying to get the maximum buff out of that, but unfortunately I was in the wrong... I teleported into the wrong territory and I didn't know about it until my city was already double rallied, and then I kind of panicked and then I lost a lot of troops. And that's basically why my death counter is actually pretty high for that one. You guys can see that I had like 8 million. And then heal points, I had 109 million heal points, so overall about like 1.4 to 1.5 trade ratio to 1, which is pretty good. I would say. In terms of my deaths, you guys can see that I have healed for 10 billion resources, and because we have reached the S tier, Lost Kingdom tier, which is kind of unfortunate. We could have probably reached S plus if we did fight in Kingsland, to be really honest with you. That would have been really happy, or I would have been really happy because I would have 5% extra units return. But then again, if you go into Kingsland, then obviously I'm going to have way more deaths than the 5% extra that I'm going to gain. So give or take, I guess it kind of helped me out in terms of troops. And as you guys can see, yeah, like this is how the unit's death looked like for a city that was rallied and almost zero. So you guys see that my T1 troops are all dead, and then a lot of my T4 and T5s have died because I was panicking and I didn't really have a set garrison equipment kind of equipped. I kind of swapped to like Arthur Achilles, which had the equipment like as kind of panicked, and then I got swarmed thereafter. So there was a lot of things that I did that was just stupid, and then that's why I got zeroed. But yeah, I'm gonna get about 55% of that back, which is gonna be pretty decent amount of T5s back. But most of the T4s that I'm gonna get back is actually what I care about, because I'm actually preparing for a Zenith of Power event that's gonna happen in a year. So where I think it's gonna be cavalry health, 20% cavalry health turn within that's gonna happen in December of this year. So That's what I was preparing for, and then getting 0 obviously does not help that, so that was a little bit unfortunate at the end of the day. And yeah, so that's basically it. I did gain about 9 million acclaim, which I don't 100% understand what it's supposed to mean, but I'll show you in a bit how that KP gain went for my KvK. Overall, not too bad, not too great. Obviously, I think I gained about 30 something million kills, like in terms of the units killed count over here. It obviously doesn't help that I didn't really fight in the Kingsland, but that's basically where I ended at. I don't need to do extra kills because I already got all the claims for the Kingsland. For the KvK rewards, you guys can see that I already got the... They have the 30 million kill rewards stuff somewhere here for the conquest coins. Yeah, 30 million kills. Yeah, this was already achieved, so I don't really have to do more killings at this point at the end of the day. All right, let's just go ahead and move on to our hero scroll and actually find out how each kingdom, each camp has performed. And as you guys can see, I actually organized by camp. But yeah, the Earth and Fire is probably the section that we probably can talk about the most because that's actually where my kingdoms and everything is there. Yeah, the first two kingdoms of the Earth camp, 3343 and then 2560 is doing absolutely amazing. 28.7 DKP, billion take DKP. And then 2560 did almost as much, so that's really, really good. Our kingdom probably about even with 2058. We were a lot ahead of them, but I don't think a lot of us actually had a chance to fight in the past 7. But yeah, we were ahead by a lot. But then again, now 2058 did catch up a lot. In terms of kills, I think we did the most. I thought we did the most. Yeah, I think we did the most in the camp, but the death wise, we had a lot, but I think past 7 we didn't really do as much, so that's why I think we're. I think this means that we're second in terms of DKP within the camp, which is unfortunate, but that's basically what happened. Aside from that, I don't think really much to talk about. Let's just go over and yeah, let's just go ahead and sort by DKP. And as you guys can see, Water Camp 1501 had the highest DKP in this entire KvK, which is crazy. That means out of 20 kingdoms, they gained the most amount of kills and DKP in general. But unfortunately, yeah, they weren't enough to carry the Water Camp. You guys can see that, outside of 1501, and no other kingdom really performed, especially the young kingdoms, like 3652. They had the highest power, but none of them really used that power. It seems like 3588, again, another young kingdom, the same way. Like, they really didn't use that power. It's basically a dead way for the KvK. Obviously, not their fault because they're young kingdoms, and then they just went out of like what their KvK 4, right? So they probably entered the KvK 5, 6, 7. Obviously we're gonna have an advantage over the young kingdoms, but they had a normally large amount of young kingdoms compared to other camps, so that's why Water Camp was struggling against the Wind Camp, in my opinion. And as you guys can see, all the Wind Camp except for one kingdom was really, really old, right? Every kingdom starts with 2000, so they just destroyed the Water Camp, unfortunately. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Let's see which kingdom had the most amount of deaths. Hey, it looks like the Young Kingdom actually did take the most amount of that, which is actually interesting. And then our camp's 3584. And then the Wind camp's 2721. And then us. And then 3248, and then us, right? T5, no, just kill point wise. 1501 was number 1 again. 58 was number 2. That's interesting. I guess this, well, I don't know what Oh, it's just in terms of total kill point. Okay, that's interesting. Not in terms of the gain, because it looks like we gained a little bit more kills. But in terms of overall KP that they have, yeah, 1508 was number one. And the gain, because 1508 seems to have done the most amount of legwork for the water camp at the end of the day. But yeah, that's basically what happened. In terms of the governors who have gained the most amount of DKP, looks like this guy EM97 from 1501 gained 5.1 billion DKP, which is actually crazy. He gained 6.9 billion kill points. Yo, that's insane, guys. That is insane. Yeah, this guy has done crazy amount of work. Let's look at myself though. I think that's what you guys care about, right? Yeah, there you go. That's all my accounts that actually participated within this KvK. You guys can see that I gained 664 million kill points, and got about 2.5 million deaths, which is basically what you saw from the Hall of Heroes, just because of the fact that I was, I was zeroed. You guys can see that a lot of my farms took a lot of deaths too, because I did use a lot of my farms to fill my rallies and other people's rallies at the end of the day, which is very. I was able to, I usually just use one farm, which is this one right here, which is my main farm, but these two reached City Hall level 25 very recently, so I just started using them as well. And that's basically how all my accounts has performed in this KvK. Personally, I'm not too happy or sad about the KP. I mean, obviously, I think I could have gained more than a billion if I didn't get zeroed for one thing, and then also at the same time, if we did fight all the way to Kingston, I think that would have made a huge difference. But yeah, I'm not too happy, too sad about the overall performance that I had. I think I just got exactly what I did, and yeah, I feel indifferent about this KvK, to be honest. But yeah, so that's basically my performance. 664 million kill points. Was probably a little bit more than what I thought I got. I thought I got like 400 million, but interesting. But anyways, that's probably it for what I have for you today. And yeah, it is unfortunate that I don't really have a good use for you to share on the main account. Obviously, this was the first KvK that I did enter with my main set kind of complete. Last KvKs, I think I was still finishing up my armaments and all that stuff. So yeah, it is unfortunate that it didn't go as well as I was hoping that it will go. But it is what it is. I mean, I think the moment that we actually got matched up and the alliance is kind of figured out, I think we kind of knew that we were going to lose because of how many younger kingdoms that our allies actually had. Obviously, and we were expected to lose that front at that warfield that we had on the upper side, because the Earth camp did have more KPs and power compared to us. So I think, yeah, unfortunately, from the matchup phase, I think we kind of expected this to happen. But the way that it rolled out, unfortunately, it was kind of saddening to just find out how it went exactly as it was expected. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, please go ahead and drop me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, guys. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video, guys. Peace!